Welcome to the Tea Grannies. I'm Elise.
And I'm Maria. Today we're here with author Kate McWilliams to chat about self-publishing. So pour yourself a cup of tea and let's get started.
I first killed someone when I was 16. It wasn't premeditated, but I'm not sure that makes it any better. It still happened. I still did it. She's still dead. After, my mother couldn't look at me for the longest time, what felt like forever. Her gaze always just clearing the top of my head, jumping from here to there, afraid to linger, pretending to be distracted when, in actuality, she was laser-focused on avoiding eye contact with me, as if my evil was transferable and would spread like black mold over her heart. I didn't go to prison, or even juvie. Not a single day paid for my crime. Like they knew it would haunt me, and that was punishment enough. Nobody pulled me aside at customs with a warrant for my arrest, or bothered to contact me since I've been back. A miracle I am too numb to appreciate. Killing changes you, curdles you from something smooth and shiny and full of hope, a seed with so much potential, into a monster, hideous and unrecognizable. A reverse metamorphosis, layers of yourself, your humanity, dying, flaking, falling, decomposing. She calls me on my way home from work, my mom. She's the only one who does, and I answer because just a few months ago, I thought I might lose her. The diagnosis forced me to imagine a life without her, and the outcome was revolting, horrifying, an abomination. "Hey, baby," she says, with such clarity I know she's not stoned, and relief trickles through me, loosening my shoulders. Our conversations get too weird when she's high. She does not reference my birthday, but she skirts around the topic. "Doing anything fun tonight?" Since I haven't made any friends here yet, she is referring to Liam, who doesn't understand my aversion to celebrating, who has been kept in the dark because we haven't been dating that long.
So overall, the first paragraph is absolutely fabulous. What a hook. I do like the bit about her mother not being able to look at her after. But that being said, I think it could be condensed. It's a pretty run-on sentence. The listeners obviously can't see what we can see, but from after my mother to black mold over her heart is all one sentence, and it bogs down the beginning, which is a real shame after such a killer opener.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked the "a miracle I am too numb to appreciate" line very much. Clues us right into our protagonist's mental state. I liked the monologue, but it's a little bit of a run-on sentence as well. I think it could be mixed with the phone call scene, and that way we still get to see their inner struggle, but we don't lose any forward motion. And a few things I'd like to see in this first page that are missing to me is the main character's name, if possible, and some setting. Right now there isn't any, and it reads kind of like a journal entry. That's not really a bad thing, but the readers need a feel and a visual for what the main character is doing. So those are my only suggestions. I thought it was great. I loved the hook. The hook was my favorite part.
Yeah, for sure. I think my comments are all pretty similar. The first line, I was immediately intrigued, obviously, and by now, listeners probably know that anything with murder will get our attention, so...
Murder, death, kill!
Yay! So that immediate introduction of that particular plot point is fabulous. And I also love how the author has established the protagonist's regret. So intentionally and powerfully within the first page, like, okay, they killed someone and they deeply regret it. It has affected them in a big way, and that's going to be a big part of the story. And I definitely want to know what actually happened. Like, was it actually murder? Was it manslaughter? Was it an accident? Because I'm inherently distrustful of all protagonists, so I don't believe yet that they're actually guilty. I want to be able to see that for myself based on the events that led to it. Would very much like to find that out. I especially honed in on the line about being a monster, hideous and unrecognizable. Like, that have caught my attention. That's very intense, and I'd like to put that against the facts to see if it measures up. And similar to what Maria said, I'd recommend that the author revise this first page for a couple of things. The first being setting, because I don't know the time period or where this story is starting or where we're at. And then who the protagonist is, because we don't get any details except that they killed someone when they were 16, which suggests a couple things. They're older than that now, and also they have or will kill someone again eventually within the story, because it says it's the first time that they killed someone, so that insinuates a second time at least, which that's very interesting to me. I like that little hint there and makes me curious about the rest. But as a reader, I would say I felt pretty unmoored in this one. I would have loved some setting descriptions. And like Maria, my main suggestion would be to merge the monologue about the killing at the beginning with the phone call, and then sprinkle in those descriptions. Like start with some setting of where they are. Are they walking home? Are they driving home when they answer this phone call? And then because it's the mother calling, that directly relates to the monologue above that had details about the mother as well. So you could like merge those thoughts together relatively easily. And that would help just anchor the reader better in the scene. And then, beyond that, just finish your story, please, so that I can find out who died and who's guilty and how that all works, because I genuinely want to know.
So, welcome, Kate. I'm so happy we met on Bookstagram, and I loved your first book, and the other ones are on my TBR, of course. So, why don't you introduce yourself to the class?
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm Kate McWilliams, and I write contemporary romance. For now, I have plans to branch out and do some other subgenres of romance as well. But that's me. I have 2 books out. My third is coming out in 3 days. Ooh. And I have a very busy schedule after that too.
Wow, that's awesome. Hello. This is the first time I'm meeting you, even via technology. So it's lovely to meet you. It's lovely to have you. You mentioned that you might branch out into subgenres. I wonder if you're comfortable sharing what those might be.
Yes. So I definitely want to get into some darker romance, and then forge that with like fantasy or PNR.
Like fantasy romance.
I think I'm using a different pen name for that because they're just going to be so totally different.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but it's exciting though. I'm hoping to do that like sometime at the end of next year.
Awesome.
That's so exciting.
Right up Maria's alley.
I know, I'm sitting here like really excited now. The caffeine just finally hit me. It's probably both. So Light in the Dark was the first book that you ever published, right?
The first novel. I have published poetry before, but yes.
Okay, and then you've got one more out and one more that's coming out on September 15th, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because this episode's going to air in October, I think. So it'll be out by then. So yeah, for the listeners, FYI. And then you have another one that's on the way. So that's pretty exciting. I like that. Mm-hmm. And you'll continue with self-publishing. Have you considered like traditional publishing at all? Or are you happy with your self-publishing?
I really haven't considered it. I never considered it. It's an awesome path. Back in the day when I wanted to be a writer as like a teenager, it was kind of traditional publishing was mostly the only way to go. Mm-hmm. And so I always wanted to do that. But, you go to school and kind of like people get in your head like, oh, well, choose a career that's going to like be stable and blah, blah, blah. And so I kind of put it on the back burner and stopped working on that. And then as the years went by, self-publishing became like a huge industry. And I always wanted to and just never did until finally one day I was like, what am I waiting for? Like, I'm like, I could have had a totally different life if I had done this 5 years ago. So, so I just went for it. And I think what helped was I read a lot of indie published books. And so, and I kind of had connections with authors who self-published. And that was, they love it. And it kind of was just the way to go for me. I also have no patience. So the idea of like hoping and waiting and maybe getting somebody interested one day, I was like, no, I can't. That's not for me. I just want to like get my stuff out and move on to the next one.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm at now. Like, I've always wanted to be traditionally published, and the Bookstagram account and Elise have really helped me see like, oh, like indie publishing might be the way, especially because I am a control freak and I am impatient. I'm like, this could be good for me. This could be really good. And I've been querying, and it's hard.
It is so hard. I can't imagine. I mean, I've looked into it. I've researched it. I've done all of, the steps up until doing it. And it's terrifying and hard. And I mean, more power to all the people that do it. I just, like you said, the control aspect is amazing. I love also being able to change things and being able to be like, you know what? I didn't like that cover. Like, I switched one of my covers because it didn't turn out like in thumbnails and stuff as pretty as I wanted it. And I was like, oh, I can change that. Like, I can do whatever I want. And it's so nice. And having the final say is so nice. Now, that's not to say that like one day, if I had the opportunity to publish traditionally, I wouldn't do it. Like, I would definitely consider it. But it's kind of hard to beat the amount of control and the amount of like, it's all my, like, I don't know. It's fun kind of having your own business and like, this is all mine. And it might not, massive numbers compared to traditionally published authors, but it's building something is really exciting and
rewarding, I bet.
Yes.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, adding that to my to-do list, give up on querying, start your self-publishing journey.
Well, hey, the hybrid model is a thing. So yeah, you can always do both. Thank you for sharing that. I'm very intrigued by where you're at because I just, I've self-published my ebooks recently, and that was mostly just an experiment. So hearing it from someone who's been doing it for longer than I have, and you have print books and everything is very cool. My next question is, do you write full time? What does like your day-to-day life look like?
So I do write full time. I had a full time like separate job, and I had some health issues and ended up kind of making the choice like, okay, I have to either take a leave of absence and I can work on all of the stuff that I want to work on, or I can try to push through and keep putting it off and like not being able to throw myself fully into it. So I decided to leave my job back in April. And, it was kind of like I was pushed into it for things I didn't control, but it was a blessing, and it's still scary. I do make money doing like side work, like as a proofreader and stuff like that. So I do have income from that as well. It's not just author stuff, but I'm hoping, I'm hoping that I can keep this going and not have to like go back. So we'll see. I don't know. It is possible, but it is a lot of work and it is kind of scary, but
and I have noticed a lot of authors, like even traditionally published authors, like it's not their only way of getting income. Like they almost all have one or two other things that they do, like proofreading, or like Eileen Cook was our mentor for the Writer Studio. She does that. She has like a few other things going on, and she's like a successful traditionally published author. I just think part of it's writing community. It's nice to be involved in other ways, but I think a lot of it is just not really realistic to have writing fund your whole life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love being able to step away from my projects and work on something else. And doing a lot of like, I've been making graphics for people and doing a lot of like organization, like making social media calendars for people. And I enjoy that. It's fun to me. So it's a really fun part of my day. And, it's not like, again, that's not a full-time career either, but it adds extra income, and it just gets me out of my head and my own stories for a bit.
Yeah, that's also a good point. I didn't think about that. Okay, so considering, you'll have to remind me of the company that you have started for its proofreading and the social media stuff. I didn't write it down at bad memory, so you'll have to tell us about it.
Yeah, so it's called Ink and Earth Studio,
Mhm.
and my friend Shannon and I really just kind of had always planned on branching out and doing this because again, it's just stuff we enjoy, and we figured like self-publishing is so expensive, and
Mhm.
it's nice when you can kind of like trade services or help other authors, or offer services at like, a rate that is pretty affordable compared to a lot of the bigger
Mhm.
companies that are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And since we had just gone through like publishing our first books was really when we decided to do it, because we were like, look at all this money we're spending, and like there has to be an easier way. Like there has to be at least another option for people, because also there are amazing people that do this stuff, but they book up really quickly. Like you can only do so many at a time.
Mhm.
So I know so many editors and proofreaders and people that do graphics, but like they're booked solid. And so we just wanted to be able to help like our little community and offer another option.
I love that. So how much time do you spend like writing, and then how much time do you spend working on Ink and Earth stuff, like and then marketing on top of that as well?
Yeah, honestly, marketing is probably what I spend the most time on.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
but it's also because I enjoy that part. A lot of people don't, but I genuinely enjoy like social media, and especially TikTok I got really into this year, which I
Mhm.
hadn't used before very much at all. And I was like scared of it and unsure. But now that I'm there, it's so much fun. And I love Instagram because it's so pretty. But
Mhm.
TikTok is like just casual, and like you think something and you can post it. And it has pretty stuff too, but it's a lot less formal than Instagram. So it's kind of fun to experiment, and it's a good community too. So I end up spending way more time than I probably should marketing because I'm constantly, coming up with ideas for, videos, and making graphics is so much fun, but I will sit there and like make graphic on my phone while I'm doing something else, and I'll spend an hour and I don't even realize time has passed and I've made one. And it doesn't always take that long, but I get so into it and like hyper focused that I don't realize the time has passed. So, yeah, so I probably market the most, but then writing, I'm trying to get better at having a schedule and doing a little every day,
Mhm.
but that's not where my brain is. So it's kind of like the struggle of um, procrastinating and like getting.
Mhm.
I often work through the stories in my head before I really write them out. And so when I write them, it might only take me like a week or two to like write it out because I've worked out everything. But that's not conducive to having like, I think, longevity, because you just get burnt out really easily. So I'm trying to kind of write a little every day. And then with Ink and Earth, I just it depends on, the clients. I usually spend like a couple hours a day, but some days none, some days I'll spend all day on their stuff. So it really depends.
Sounds like there's a lot of diversity in your days, which can be really interesting and keeps you from getting bored. Like my day job is super boring. It's always the same. And so I'm always trying to get my work done like as fast as I can so I can go do something that is more interesting, like writing or like Bookstagram. I spend way too much time on there. And all the time I spend on TikTok, I should get on Book Talk. Right now my TikTok is basically, I haven't posted anything and all my likes are like dog videos and like people falling down. So I'm like, I gotta get on Book Talk.
Get on Book Talk.
It's time.
Yeah, it is time. It is really fun. It's like the crazier side of Bookstagram. Like a little crazy
more unhinged Bookstagram.
But it's fun.
Okay, I think our next question kind of circles back to the more technical side, like we were just talking about. So if you were to make a list or like a step-by-step guide for must-haves for self-publishing, what do you think your top 5 things would be for people who are looking to get started doing this?
I think what has helped me the most is honestly like doing the research. Now, I'm not a Facebook person at all, but Facebook is huge for authors. A lot of readers are on Facebook, a lot of author groups are on Facebook, and there is so much information that you can find from really good, I mean, not all groups, but there are some really good author groups on Facebook, and there are, I mean, just so much information to learn from. Like, don't even comment, don't even ask questions, just go and search through the posts, and you will learn so much about the process. About any question you might have has already been asked before. And you know, you can set your expectations, because people will post how much they make. They you know, they will post like how long it took them to write. Everything you could know is in there. And I think that if you, I'm definitely the type of person that likes to jump into stuff. I'm not trying to say that's bad, but I think that if you jump into things without doing the proper research, it can be hard. And of course, there are really good books out there about this, and, you know, websites as well. But seeing groups of authors that are able to update you in real time and tell you, you know, this is my experience, and then you can compare them to others, because obviously no one's going to have the same experience. It's been so helpful. Like, that's the number one thing that's helped me on my journey, is finding authors to like learn from, and investing in a good computer.
Yeah.
I became like a MacBook user because it is just so much easier to use. I love Vellum for formatting. It's literally my favorite thing in the world because it makes it so easy. I love Photoshop. That has been a whole other thing, because I was not a Photoshop user before I started this journey. But being able to create graphics on your own, and of course you can outsource this, but if you don't have the money, you're going to need to learn how to do stuff. And so that's super important. And, you know, everything else, it's all a learning process. Like, I'm still just trial and error in my career at this point. But that's kind of the fun part. Like, I love trying something, and if it works, awesome. And if it doesn't, let's pivot to the next thing. So that's kind of my viewpoint.
That's a really good attitude, because then there's me. If I try something, it doesn't work, I'm like, you're an utter failure. You will never get this right. You know, I go to the dark side.
I've been there so many times. And so I get that. Like, that's my first mental go-to, but I've had to like push that aside and just, you know, whatever, pivot to the next.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. I like that description. So kind of bouncing off of that, how much of the process have you taught yourself, and how much of it have you hired out?
I mean, pretty much all of it I've done, with the exception of editing. And like my first book cover, which I definitely suggest getting professional designers to do your covers. But like I said, I left my job. I didn't have, by the time I wanted to do my second book, I didn't have the income that I had had previously. So I was like, I need to learn how to do this for myself, or else I'm going to end up buying like a cheap cover that I'm not going to love. So I'm going to try to learn. And, you know, like I said, it was trial and error. I ended up switching the cover, but now I am pretty confident in Photoshop, and I just had to throw myself into it and learn it. Yeah. Now I do have a, like, if I can afford it at the time. For the second book, I didn't hire a PR company, because again, finances. But for this one, I did, and and they're doing like a Bookstagram, like book tour thing, and helping with ARC readers. And I have a PA who's helping with ARC readers. But other than that, I do pretty much everything else. So,
wow,
that's really interesting. I've never considered that, like doing a PR company. Have you found that super helpful? Is that something you'd recommend if people have the money for it?
I think that if you have the money for it, and you have the goal to just get exposure and not necessarily expect to make any kind of money back from it or anything, it can be helpful. I definitely don't think that you need to spend the money on it.
Okay.
But if you have the extra money it is helpful for exposure, and it's, you know, it takes away a little bit of the time that you would spend, you know, trying to put your book everywhere. Like, you can only post so many times, you can only share so many times, and you also don't want to be annoying, or at least I don't want to be. Like, that's my biggest fear is annoying and like spamming people with my stuff. So if someone else is doing it for you, it's a lot easier.
Yeah, and it doesn't look so bad. Like, I mentioned this on one of our other episodes. When I first started on Bookstagram, I followed like a ton of authors just like right off the bat. And I found like a lot of them were always posting the same graphics. Like every day they'd post the same graphic advertising their book. And I was like, I can't follow them. Like, they don't post anything of substance. It's basically like I see enough ads already. I don't need to, but you know, now if I'm scrolling and I see like your post, I'm like, oh, I like check in and see what you're doing. And then, you know, when I see one of your posts for your books, I'm like, yes, you know, because they're not too much. When they're too much, I'm like, oh, another ad for the book, and I scroll. Right?
It's a like, yeah, I always worry about that, but I also know, because I've seen those accounts where it's literally and not even like a variety of pictures, it's literally
the same one
graphic over and over and over again. And like, I don't want my page to look like that. Like, I have obsessive issues. I like, my OCD is too much. I need an aesthetically at least like somewhat cohesive page that's not the same thing over and over again. And so yeah, that annoys me too. But
I'm not alone.
People do that and it works for them. I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That it's so different, and experimenting is, I think, one of the most important things to do, because you never know what's going to work for you.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah.
Experimenting is the name of the game. I'm curious, some of your books are available on Kindle Unlimited, right?
Yes.
What has that experience been like?
It is an experiment. When I was before I published, I didn't know which route to take. And I know that long term, at least I've seen in these author groups that I belong in, wide publishing is the name of the game. It is what's going to make a career for you. It's what's going to be the most beneficial. But especially in my genre, romance is huge in Kindle Unlimited. And for a no-name author to get exposure from people and get them to read your book without necessarily having to spend money, because they're already buying the subscription, so they can read it for free since they've already paid for the subscription. They're taking a chance on you without investing, really. And I figured, and I think a lot of people do figure, it's like a good way to kind of break in. But I've noticed that I mean, I do get reads. I definitely get page reads, but I've noticed some people have way more, you know, when we compare numbers, and I don't mean to compare in a bad way, just like to discuss, and they have way more page reads, but I might sell more ebooks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I don't know why, honestly. Like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Mystery.
Like, with getting page reads, like a friend of mine had like 5 times the number of page reads in like literally a month compared to like 6 months. And I'm like, how did she do that? Like what? And she didn't do anything differently. It was literally just someone found it and it took off. And so I think that there's a lot you can control, but there's also a lot you can't. And and I'm doing fine. And I definitely am going to continue Kindle Unlimited for a while. But it is something that I always think about, like, well, because you can't compare. It's not like, you do it for 3 months and it can auto renew, or you can stop and go wide, but it's hard to start wide. And so it's time to, get exposure and find wide readers. And then the people that knew you were in Kindle Unlimited might be like, well, she's not in there anymore. And some people only read that because that's what they pay for. And so it's one of those things that I know a lot of authors, at least a lot of like newer authors, struggle with, because there's so many different sides to it and you don't want to choose the wrong one. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I might do a different series wide and see what happens. But then again, it's like people that love this series might be disappointed, and I don't know. So it's hard. I know that it's common for a lot of really successful indie authors to end up going wide at some point. And people might have a problem with that, but there's also readers that only read on Apple Books or Kobo, and so they can't get your books. And so
you can't please everybody.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Do you get paid per page reads? Like, how does that break out for Kindle Unlimited?
So you get paid per page read, and it's only the first go around. If you reread a book, it doesn't count.
Darn.
But if you read like half a book, you'll get those pages, and that's it. And the actual number varies because they pull it from like this pot of like all of the subscriptions, and so it's like so it varies, but I think it ends up working out to be like, maybe, I'm trying to think of how much I get. So I sell my books for, I'll do the first one. I sell the first one for like $2.99. I think if I sell an ebook at $2.99, I make, and it all depends on the file size too.
Yes.
But I make like $2.06 or something like that. And then if someone reads the whole thing, I might make like $1.20 or something like that. So it is, but that's because I have shorter books. There might be people that have 600-page books. Kindle Unlimited is great for them because if people read through, they're getting way more.
Yeah, they're getting more money per book.
200 and something page book. So yeah, it's all, there's so much to factor in, and it can be like so overwhelming.
I'm a little overwhelmed listening. I have Kindle Unlimited, and I totally fall for that trap of I pay for Kindle Unlimited every month, and it comes off my Visa like automatically. And then when I go on there, I'm like, oh, read for free. Like I didn't, like I paid for it, but it's such a great little marketing trick because I'm like, I'll download all these books. They're free.
Yeah.
But that being said, I actually don't like reading on Kindle Unlimited on my phone. I don't like it. I'd rather read on my Kobo because it feels like a book. Or my like physical books.
Interesting.
But that's where you get into the preference of like, I ordered your book in print because I was like, well, I want to take a picture for the gram, obviously. But I actually read the ARC on my phone or whatever, and that was fine. I was just taking it with me everywhere. But it's I think that's actually the main thing that keeps me from reading more on Kindle Unlimited. I just don't really, because I think when I'm on my phone, like people text me, I'm like, go wait, I'm reading a romance book.
I got the Kindle Paperwhite for that reason, because I want to read, and then I will go and read an ebook on my phone, and I will get distracted because I see a text or I see an email and so I got the Kindle for that reason. But I pay for Kindle Unlimited because it is good for authors, I think too, because I can read other authors' stuff. And not, like I'd be buying books all the time. Like I can't afford to buy every book I want to buy. Anyway, so I do love Kindle Unlimited. I know I pay for it every month, but I don't get my money's worth.
Yeah, I don't either.
I end up not reading at all because I'm writing, or I end up reading a book that is not in Kindle Unlimited, or I will start. I'm the worst mood reader. So I'll start one and I'll 30 pages, and then it's fine. It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. But I'm like, I'm going to go to this one now. And then I never go back. And I have like 15 books that I'm cycling through, and it's so hard.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm
so guilty of that.
Minute.
So bad. People that aren't mood readers, like they just pick up whatever they want to read and just read it. I'm like, that's nice. That must be nice. Right? Like I picked up the sequel to For the Wolf, so For the Throne, and I got like 20 pages in. I'm like, this is so great. But then I was like, it's just too summery out to read this. And I put it back on the shelf. I'm like, I'm gonna pick you up on a cold, rainy day, and it will be perfect. But you have to wait. Like it's so annoying.
Yes, it's so funny. And I wanted to read my friend Kimberly Ann's book, Canadian Fall, because I had read Canadian Spring and Canadian Summer, but I'm like, it is still too hot. Like I need it to be cooler fall. It's not.
It needs to actually be a fall.
Yes. So I'm like, wait.
Oh my God. I love that I'm not alone in this, because
No.
sometimes I feel like I'm crazy. Like I'm putting the book on my shelf and I'm like, thank goodness no one can see me being so weird. And then I talk about it on the show so everybody
Now
knows.
everyone knows.
Yeah. Just being straight up with you guys. Anyway, as I got off topic again, so you have print copies of your books, which I love, because a lot of indie authors don't have print copies. And like I just said, I love having physical copies for the gram and for the library. So can you tell us a bit about the process for doing print books and how you distribute them?
Yeah, so there's a lot of, well, not a lot. There are multiple options. I went the easiest route because I knew I was new at this and I didn't want to like have too much to learn at one time, because that's already a lot. So I just went through KDP with Amazon for my first one. I did do Barnes & Noble Press as well on my second book. I don't think I've sold any through them. I think most people use Amazon. And it's nice if you have a big audience, it's nice to be able to offer your books in multiple places, but I don't know if it's worth it for me right now. I also make less money at Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Printing cost is higher. So, and Ingram Spark is good because they will distribute to everywhere, most places for you. Like you can get into Walmart and Target.
Okay.
And actually people that get into the Barnes & Noble brick and mortar stores, they usually buy it from Ingram as opposed to their own press. So
interesting.
A lot of bookstores or a lot of people go through Ingram because of costs. So Ingram is pretty big.
Ingram is, and it's what stores buy from. So if you want to distribute wide for your paperback, which you can do even if you're in Kindle Unlimited, you can distribute your paperback through them. And then I always recommend uploading to Amazon separately, because you cut out the middleman and make more royalties that way. But I didn't do that only because, first of all, they do charge you, and uploading through Amazon is free. And like I said, I didn't want to learn a whole, because you have to format it and kind of upload it differently. And so it's just extra step. And once you get into it, I'm sure it's fine. But again, I wanted to keep it easy for this first series because I'm already doing so much that I was like, let me just not worry about that right now. Yeah. But, you know, there are differences, the slight differences in terms of like the way the book looks. Like I know some people are happier with the covers from Ingram. But I'm really happy with the qualities of my paperbacks, at least the ones that I got as author copies. They're beautiful. I've had no I should knock on wood, because people talk about problems with KDP and getting messed up books and errors, but I have not had that issue. So it's fine for now, you know?
Yeah, the paperback I have, I got it through Amazon, the one of your book, and it came like perfect. Like, you know, you could have bought that at any bookstore and been like, yeah, this is great, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was like, I was glad you answered that question, because I was like, that paperback was nice. We gotta have a question about the paperback.
Right? Like I was actually surprised, because I get a lot of paperbacks from like Target and whatever. And you know, some of like the trade paperbacks are like they're good, they're fine, but the paper's thinner and the paper's thinner. And so I was expecting that. And when I got mine, I was like, ooh, like this is
it's a real book.
Yeah, like I really was happy with it. So I definitely don't regret that decision. But you know, there's something to be said about like throwing all your eggs in one basket. Like I am fearful that like putting all of my stuff in Amazon could come back to bite me, because I know some people have issues with them.
Yeah, I've heard of that, but then there seems to be like such a huge amount of people that have a lot of success with it. So it's kind of, you know,
I think you hear about the horror stories because they're like people losing their accounts, or people, you know, like that's such a big deal that obviously everyone's going to talk about it, but there are millions of books that are published all the time. So.
Yeah, no problem. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm going to have to pick your brain about all of your print book settings when it comes to be my turn, because I want to know.
Please do. I love this, like the industry talk. I love talking about it. I love talking about the business side of it and like the actual, like all of it, formatting, everything. So please do.
Excellent.
I love us writers. We just like embrace like all the stuff that other people are like, that's nerdy. We're like, actually over here, it's cool. So
I will be the biggest nerd about this stuff. And yeah, it's the best. I love it.
Excellent.
I love it.
Okay. I would like to stay in this topic, but we do have to move on to the next one. My nemesis is marketing questions. So I'm delighted that you're here for this, because this is why we asked you on the show. Marketing is a beast, and like you said, a lot of people don't enjoy it. I'm one of those people. I use social media because I know exposure and whatever, but I don't like it. I don't know how to use it. Maria's obviously a lot better at it than I am. I'm just kind of like, I lurk and I like things, and I might comment once in a blue moon, and that is why I have issues. But if you can, could you describe your social media strategy in a paragraph? In I don't know, as many words as you need, but some kind of description that will make sense to people like me.
So first of all, I definitely don't, like, I totally get how you feel. And I don't think that authors should like force themselves to become a totally different person if they don't want to, like if you don't enjoy it. Obviously, like from a business standpoint, yes, I think that there should be like some effort, but if you don't enjoy it, like don't waste your time doing it all the time.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, like I thought that about TikTok. Like I was so scared of it. I thought it was stupid. I didn't want anything. Like my kid uses TikTok. Like I was like, why am I getting on here? And then once I embraced it, I was like, this is really fun. And so I think that there are definitely ways of finding what works for you and just focusing on that and not worrying about the rest. Like I don't like Twitter. It's too fast for me. I can't keep up with it. I don't like the interface. Like I don't like anything about it. I do have a Twitter and I post once in a while, but I just don't spend my time there. I don't put effort into it. And the same with Facebook. I am on Facebook a little more because, you know, it is a good platform, but it's not where I want to spend time scrolling and interacting because it's just not my cup of tea. And so I really put my effort into Instagram and TikTok. And I don't really have an actual strategy, but if I were to explain my strategy, it would just be interacting with people I enjoy their content, making sure I cater and this is actually something that I started to do. And you mentioned your feed is all like dog videos. So with TikTok especially, you can train its algorithm by just focusing on what you want to see and and who you want to target to see your stuff. So I actually just opened a new account for like my general scrolling because sometimes I would be like, ooh, this cleaning TikTok is interesting. This organization TikTok is interesting, or whatever. And then like none of it was books. And I was like, ooh, I'm not targeting the right people. So I started a new account for all that stuff. And then I'm trying to like target the right people. And not because like I still interact and it's still genuine, but I want my videos to go out to people that are also interested in that and not like random people that don't care about books. So that's mostly my strategy, is just to find people that like the same stuff I do and kind of be as genuine as I can. I don't like, and I think people are starting to do this less, or at least I hope they are, but like the cold DMing and you know, like just leaving comments that are like you could copy and paste it to 100 different accounts. Like don't be like that. Just like find people you enjoy and genuinely comment on their stuff, share it, just be supportive. And that's how I've always kind of led this. I mean, a lot of stuff is still learning to, like, TikTok is always changing and Instagram's always changing too. And I feel like Instagram is so much harder to use nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, I had an account years ago for like my poetry work, and it was so easy to grow. And then one day it just stopped. And then ever since then, Instagram has just like not been the same. And I think that was like a few years ago, they changed their own stuff, and they keep making changes. And now it's like, and I don't look at the numbers all the time. Like I really don't, because that's not really what I care about. But you know, it is a business, so you do have
you do look at it.
Yeah, like if I have to,
Mm-hmm.
because also I'm so like sensitive that I'm like, oh, like why do people not like this? It reached this many people, but only 2 liked it. Like, so I don't look at it. But if I have to, I've definitely seen like a huge decrease in engagement. And I don't know. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Like I try not to stress about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I've noticed a lot of changes in Instagram, like since I started our Bookstagram. Like it was easy to grow, lots of likes on our posts, lots of interaction. I saw lots of accounts on my feed, and now it's like I only see the same people, and the same people only see our posts. We're down to like sometimes like I got like 40 likes on one of our posts one day. I was like, that is really weird considering we have like 2,500 followers or whatever. So it has changed a lot, and that is the other thing that's making me think I will get on BookTok. But I don't like making videos, so we will see.
Oh, BookTok scares me. I do not have a TikTok account. I'm just saying.
You just open the ones that I send you all the time.
And that's, you don't have to. You know, not everybody. I don't know. I honestly feel like it's just do what you like. And if you don't like social, then, you know, that's the other thing. I can't afford to do a lot of ads. I've never done an ad. I wanted to get into it for the release, but I haven't yet. Because it intimidates me, like learning the process. And also it's expensive, and I don't have the money for that. So social media is, you know, free, and it helps get the word out. But that's the thing. If you don't like social media, but you can even just a little bit of money, invest that in ads, then maybe you don't need as much social media.
Yeah. That's a very good point. And you actually answered my next question, so I don't have to ask it. I love that. But that does kind of push me into the next one. Like we talk a lot about ads, organic versus paid. Like there's a bunch of different ways you can go. You can do BookBub, you can do Book Sirens, or I think there's Book Sprout is one we haven't talked about before. And those are kind of all very book focused. I haven't tried any of them, so I don't know how they work, but I've heard good and bad. But the thing that a lot of book marketing can hinge on, I guess, is reviews. And that those are huge especially for indie authors. So how does your review process look? How do you go about getting reviews for your books?
So it's hard because a lot of people just don't leave reviews. So organically, it's really hard to get reviews. So I tried to do my own ARC team, like be in charge of it, but I'm the worst at following up because I don't want to bother people.
I am the same.
I cannot like be like, okay guys, it's time to review. Can you send me a link so I know you did it? Like no, I could never do that. So I passed it off. I got a wonderful PA. Her name is Amy, and she does it now for me. And so I just post about, hey, I have an art team. Like I'm opening my art team. If you want to art read this for me, here's the link, and they can sign up. It's a Google form. It's super easy. And then she does all that stuff. And then if she told me that if people don't review, then they won't be on the list next time. I would never be able to do that, but Amy's in charge now. So
I love that. Amy's the bad cop. You're the good cop.
Amy's the boss. Like she's the one.
Adore this.
It's her. So
we all need an Amy. Oh my gosh.
Honestly, I told her, I was like, I need someone to be in charge of me, because like I cannot do, like I'm really good at some things, but I can't do other things, and I need someone to like, you know, be my boss. And so she's like, oh, that's no problem. So it's wonderful. But also the PR company I went through as well, they have in-house reviewers. So they don't force them. It's just they post about the book, and anyone that's in their house will get an ARC copy of it, and they can leave their review.
Wow.
So I'm getting it from 2 ways now. So I'm hoping that it'll be better than before, which wasn't bad or anything. It's just, it's hard, especially when you're not well known.
Yeah.
Like some people are so popular that people fight over arcs and they only give out so many, and people get really disappointed when they don't get one. And it's like, I can't imagine that because I'm like, please take my book.
Please take my free book.
Please help. Yeah, take my free book.
Right? Take my free book.
Oh
Okay,
God, I love
that kind of that answers my next question again. You're good at this. I like this. Okay, which was like, do you have some kind of hype team or street team? You have an ARC team. You have a PR company. Are there any other groups that you use to help you promo your books?
No, because I tried to do a street team and it failed because I was like, oh, I don't want them to get sick of me. Like, I'm not emailing them too much. And then like I dropped the ball and like I was like, oh, that's not really working. And I was like, hey, Amy, should we do a street team? And she's like, I don't like street teams.
And you're like, okay, thank you, boss.
Decision made. Thanks, boss.
Yeah. So no, I do think, because I think her reasoning is that like people end up posting the same exact graphic and it kind of gets like spammy if you like look at certain hashtags. And I totally get that.
Yeah.
But you know, there are other street teams that are like really, it's more of like a fun group that you belong to, and there's like a chat and you do fun stuff, and I love that idea. It's just hard for me to implement that. So so maybe one day.
So what is next for your writing career, and what are you working on right now that you can tell us about?
Ooh, the tea for the tea grannies.
Yes,
That's right.
ma'am.
Yes.
So back here is my like board that I write everything on. So I have the release that just came out when you're listening to this is Into the Light. I have an anthology I'm a part of that is for reproductive rights and bodily autonomy. All of the proceeds are going to that. That's called Sacred, and that will be out October 31st.
Cool.
Yes. So I'm really excited about that one. It's going to be like 15 or 16 different subgenres of romance. So like we have fantasy, we have PNR, we have contemporary, we have suspense.
Wow.
And they're all new works and stuff like that. Some novellas, some short stories. So it's going to be really fun. And then in November, I have a Christmas novella for my Moon Harbor series, and I just wanted to do like something super tropey, like super fun, and like it's going to be snowed in, forced proximity, Christmassy, like all the things I love. It's like Hallmark movie, but not.
I need it. I love bad Christmas movies, so I'd love to read a good Christmas novella. You know what I mean? Like that has all those vibes.
Hallmark spice. So it's gonna be that, and also like a way to catch up with the other characters. So that's gonna be fun. So that's November. And then January, I haven't announced the title yet, but I'm going to have book 4 of Moon Harbor out.
Oh, so exciting. Oh my gosh, you have so much going on. I'm not doing anything with my writing stuff right now.
It's really, because I get excited about something and then I can't. I announce it, so then I can't back out. I have to just do
that. Is smart. You kind of hold yourself accountable. You're like, if I don't do it, all these people are gonna judge me.
That was the thing that scared me the most about the third book that I just put out. Like I put off announcing a date for months because I was like, but I don't know if I'll be ready, and I don't want to force it, so I'm not gonna say anything. I just put it off and put it off. Everyone was like, when is it coming out? You keep saying summer. What does that mean? So.
I feel you. And that's the thing. I'm the kind of person that if I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'll be ready, I'll never be ready. Like but if I say a date, I'll be ready. Like I'll force myself. And of course, like if something happens and I have to extend it a little bit, like that's the beauty in self-publishing. But like, you have to get it done. So it's either going to be then or you're going to feel bad extending it. Like I had to do that before. And I was like, I'm such a failure. Like this is the worst.
No.
It was 2 weeks. Like it wasn't even a big deal. People were like, this, like nobody even pays attention to release dates anyway.
That's true.
I'm like,
that's true. Yeah.
I was so upset about it. And then I was like, I can't do that again. So I just like guilt myself into putting things out. I don't know.
I think that's amazing. Using guilt as a superpower instead of as a detriment.
That's what it is. Like, turn it around. Because if you're going to have it anyway, you might as well use it to your advantage.
Okay, Elise and I are recovering people pleasers, so I think that this is something we need to incorporate into our lives.
Oh my gosh.
Use it to our advantage.
Yeah, take the power away from the guilt and use it for
There you
our
go.
evil plans. I love this.
Yes.
I like that
Oh my
you said
gosh.
recovering people pleasers, because I'm a people pleaser, but yes, that's what I am trying. I'm trying to recover from it. So that's what
It's really hard.
It's really
hard.
I can't even email the people that said they wanted to be on my street team. Like, I'm like, this is too annoying. Like, they're not going to want to hear from me.
Oh my God, we are the same.
Oh
my gosh.
So,
I love it though. I'm glad we're not alone. Yeah, it's a real pain in the butt, but you know, we're getting there. That's why I say we're in recovery.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
I love
Every
that.
day's a little better. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show. That was amazing. And I feel like I learned so much that I'm gonna like do the same thing I did with our trad publishing episode, where I like listen to our episode and take my own notes.
Copious notes.
Yeah, for myself. I'll be doing that again. This is great. So we'll make sure we put all your social media handles and everything like that in the notes for our episode. So if any of our lovely listeners would like to buy Kate's books, which you should, or follow her on her socials, we will have that information for you guys in the show notes.
Yes.
And yeah, is there anything you wanted to add before we finish up?
No, I just wanted to thank you guys for having me. It was so much fun. I love your podcast, and I'm had a lot of fun, and I always want to talk business. So if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out.
Oh, good.
You might regret saying that to me. And that's the tea on surviving self-publishing. Don't forget to rate and review us wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Instagram at the Tea Grannies Podcast and on Twitter at the Tea Grannies. We'll see you next time for our final episode of season 2. Happy writing.